Hello everyone, welcome to Mastermind. In the previous part, we have seen in brief about all the articles which are related to the citizenship. It comes under part 2. So all the important schedules also we have seen in the first part itself. So this is part 4 of this particular series. In this, let us start with the article 5. So we have seen that article 5 to article 11 speaks about citizenship. Article 5 to article 11 speaks about citizenship. So Article 5 says about the citizenship at commencement of the constitution. At the commencement of the constitution. That is, when constitution came into place, at that point of time, who could be the citizens or who were defined to be the citizens of India. Like we have seen previously also, if we are taking a region that we are calling it as India, we are saying what constitutes India, that we have seen in the first part itself. Now, in this part of the geography, who is living or who is called as the citizen of this particular part is said in the part second. So, citizenship at the commencement of the constitution. Let us read what the article is saying and then let us understand it in a little more detail. At the commencement of this constitution, every person who has his domicile in the territory of India, in the territory of India. So we have to understand the word domicile over here. Domicile over here, because it is saying that every person who has his domicile in the territory of India, and there are three conditions. So the first one says that who was born in the territory of India, because we are speaking about commencement of the constitution, right? So hence it is telling who was born in the territory of India, that is this territory what we saw, this is called as India. So who was born in this particular territory, that person is a citizen of India. Second one, either of whose parents, that is either father or mother, was born in the territory of India. Either the person can be born in the territory of India or either of his parents. This is very, very important, because using this, that is just by mentioning over here, just by mentioning about this thing only, they can confuse you in the examination. That is, only the father could be born in India, only the mother could be born in India, something like that. So we have to understand that either of his parents was born in the territory of India, that is during the commencement of the constitution. And third one says that who has been ordinarily resident in the territory of India. See, first condition said that they had to be born in India. Second condition said that their parents, either of the parents, can be born in India. Fourth one speaks about the residence. Even if you are not born, there is so much time you can stay in that particular territory, and by staying in that particular for that much time, you can be called as a citizen of India. That is, who has been ordinary resident in the territory of India for not less than how many years it is mentioning? It is mentioning 5 years immediately preceding such commencement. That is, at least 5 years before the commencement. Now, let us say, this is just an example, that the constitution got commenced on, let's say, 90. Then 5 years at least before this commencement, if they were residing in India, they can be the citizen of India. They can be given the citizen of India. That is mentioning about citizenship. That is citizenship at the commencement of the constitution itself. Now we saw what is domicile. We were looking at what is domicile. So you can call domicile as residence, or the place where the person lives. You can also call it as home. And that is why this article also mentions that they have to be residing in the territory of India. Along with that, there are three conditions. So you reside and you are born in India. You reside here and your parents, either of your parents are born in India, or you're residing not just for 1 year, 2 year, etc. They have already mentioned how many years of residence is necessary. That is 5 years immediately preceding, that we have seen, immediately preceding. For example, let's say 85 to 90. So 5 years immediately preceding, that is before such commencement. I hope you have understood about this. Let us move on to the next article. So the first article was mentioning about what? About commencement. Commencement of Indian Constitution. That is when the Indian Constitution got commenced, when it came into place, who could be the citizen. So Article 6 says about the migration. Article 6 says about migration, and even in the next articles we will be looking at migration. But from here, in this particular case, in case of 6, who have migrated to India from Pakistan, to India from Pakistan, that is they have come from Pakistan to India. They were in Pakistan, but they have come to India. If these have to be, if these people, if these citizens are to be called as citizens, then what are the conditions? That is mentioned in Article 6. So I hope you are getting the point over here. That is the right of citizenship of certain persons who have migrated from India, Pakistan to India. That is, from Pakistan they have come to India, and here they are seeking citizenship. They want to be citizen of India. At that point of a time, what are the rules, or what are the conditions which the government had provided? Now let us read the article as it is. Notwithstanding anything in Article 5, a person who has migrated to the territory of India from the territory now included in the Pakistan shall be deemed to be citizen of India at the commencement of the Constitution if, that is what is they are elaborating. That is, they are telling, if a person has been migrated from Pakistan to India, besides Article 5, what are the other conditions to mention and say that that person is Indian Constitution only, or that person can be given Indian Constitution? So let us look at the conditions over here. First one says that he or either of his parents, previously also in commencement also what we have seen, either they have to be born, or either parents born, or they were residing for 5 years, at least 5 years preceding the commencement of the Constitution. Let us keep this in mind, and let us read this particular article in reference to that also again, so that we understand the comparison and we are not confused there. So either of his parents, either he or either of his parents, or any of his grandparents. See, in Article 6 they are mentioning about grandparents, important for us. So was born in India as defined in the Government of India Act 1935. Okay, that is, they are giving the timeline according to 1935. So in that also they have mentioned about the citizenship, right? So in that also they have mentioned about who can be the citizen. Okay, so in that also they have given the definition. So here we have to remember 3 conditions. One is either the person is born in India, or either of his parents are born in India, or his grandparents, any of his grandparents are born in India as defined in the Government of India Act 1935. So they can be given citizenship of India if they have been to Pakistan and from there they have migrated to India. Only then, correct? So this is the first condition. Second one has 2 different conditions. It mentions about 2 different conditions. We'll understand about this in detail. In case where such a person has so migrated, that is, they have migrated before 19th July 1948. They have been migrated before 19th July 1948. So usually when there are 2 different cases which is given in the same case, at that point of a time they are giving a reference for us. That is, in comparison to this and in comparison to that. Similarly, in that case only they'll be giving the references for us. So here they are giving 19th July. So in the case where such person has so migrated before 19th day of July 1948, he has been ordinarily resident in the territory of India since the date of his migration. Okay, now we are speaking about migration. So the first condition itself we have seen that it is related to migration. And what migration? From Pakistan to India. From Pakistan to India. So if this migration itself has happened before 1948 of 19th July, before 19th July 1948 only they have migrated, and since 1948 till commencement of the constitution they have been ordinarily resident in territory of India, then they can be given the citizenship of India. See, this goes in contrary to what was mentioned in Article 5, correct? Because Article 5 said that there is condition of 5 years. We have seen that also. Article 5 said there is condition of 5 years. And because of that only, they have mentioned over here, notwithstanding anything in Article 5. Notwithstanding anything in Article 5. So, if the migration is considered, then Article 5 is not considered in this particular article. That is why they have mentioned it as notwithstanding anything in Article 5. And then they have given the timeline over here. I hope this is clear. Second condition, what it is telling? It is telling that in the case where such person has so migrated on or after 19th day of July 1948. Before this, if they have migrated and if they have been ordinarily residing in India, on the territory of India, then they are citizen. If after this date they have migrated and has been registered as a citizen of India, see, before 19th of July if they have migrated, they have to be residing in India. If after this they have migrated, then they have to be registered as a citizen of India, and this registration has to be done by the government of Dominion of India itself, and by a person who is appointed by government of Dominion of India. If they have been to that person and they have registered that they are citizen of India, then they are citizen of India. This is what is Article 6 is saying. So I hope you have understood about Article 5 and Article 6 also. Article 5 said about the commencement. Article 6 said about the migration from India, migration from Pakistan to India. Let us move on to the next article. Article 7. In Article 5, we saw about commencement. I am just repeating them again and again so that it will be easier for you to remember also. So we are revising it on the go. Article 6 says about migration from Pakistan to India. In case of Article 7, it says about right of citizenship of certain migrants to Pakistan. Certain migrants to Pakistan, from India to Pakistan. Okay, what it is telling, let us understand over here. Let us read the article as it is first. Notwithstanding anything in the Article 5 or Article 6, Article 5 and Article 6, let us leave it as it is. Let us read Article 7, what it is telling. It is telling a person who has, after the first day of March 1947, 1st March 1947, migrated from India to Pakistan shall not be citizen of India, shall not be citizen of India. Okay, so they are also mentioning who is not a citizen of India over here, correct? So they are telling who is not the citizen of India. Very, very important for us. So if after 1st of March 1947, if after this they went to Pakistan, then they are not considered, or they are not considered as citizen of India, provided that nothing in this article shall apply to the person who, after having so migrated to the territory now included Pakistan, has returned to the territory of India under a permit for resettlement or permanent return issued by or under the authority of any law, and every such person shall, for the purpose of the clause B of Article 6, be deemed to have migrated to the territory of India after 19th day of July 1948. Let us break down what this particular part of this Article 7 is telling. First part it is telling very clearly that if after 1st March 1947 some person has been to Pakistan, then they are not a citizen of India. What if that person after this 1st March they went to Pakistan, okay, but again they came back to India? Again they came back to India. What about those people? What do you call them? Do you call them as citizen of Pakistan? Do you call them as citizen of India? Or do you call them as refugees? Or what it is? So to make that clear, they have added Article 7. So what Article 7 is saying, let us break down it even more. I hope this part is very clear. So the first part, what it is telling that if that person has been after 1st March 1947 to Pakistan, then they are not citizen. But if they returned from Pakistan to India, if they have returned from Pakistan to territory of India, and this return has happened after India has issued the permit, okay, let us say India at that point of a time issued the permit that if you want to come back to India, we will still give you citizenship. And under that permit, if they have got back from Pakistan, that is permit for resettlement or permanent return, which is issued by the territory authority of any law. At that point of a time, when these people returned under the permit, they are to be treated as they were treated in the condition B of Article 6. In the condition B of the Article 6 said that if a person has got back from 19th after 19th July 1948, they can be citizen of India if they are registered with the government authority that they are the citizen of India. So even if they have returned after 1947 1st March, under the permit, they can be treated as a person returned under Article 6 subclause B itself. So if you just reread this particular article again and again, it will be more clear for you. So let us stop over here only. Let us revise. Fifth said about the commencement. At the commencement, who was the citizen? Sixth said about the migration from Pakistan to India. Seventh said about the migration from India to Pakistan. In that also there were two different conditions. So I hope this part is clear. In the next part, let us discuss few more articles from the Constitution itself. So I hope you are liking the series. If you are liking the series, do mention and give your feedback in the comment section as well. So you have to remember that this series we are discussing from the Constitution itself. We are not discussing acts per se, because there is Citizenship Act also, right? That got amendment also. So Citizenship Amendment happened in 2019 as well. So all those things we are not discussing. We are discussing about the articles from the Constitution itself, and we are understanding from the Constitution itself. So let us see you in the part 5.